Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today's tool review is going to be a product by Mileseey. They did send me this product, so I'm going to mark it paid promotion. It is another bilateral laser measure, but it's got a little bit different features than those that I've showed you before from the Inkerma and the Sigmund. They contacted me and said, hey, I've noticed that you've done some reviews for some other bilateral laser measures. Their exact words was, how about I send you something that's got even one more feature than that? So this does have that. I'm going to show you what that is and go over all the features and the prices and things like that. But let's go ahead and get into this. So first, let's talk about how much it costs, what you get in the box, all those kinds of things. Again, I've got the DP20 Pro here. I wouldn't know that by the box or anything that it comes in. Everything says DP20, but if I turn it on, it says DP20 Pro right there before it kicks over into measurement mode. Now the DP20 Pro right now currently, and again, this price fluctuates quite a bit, and the price doesn't necessarily fluctuate, but the way that you get to that price is currently it's $199 with a $60 off coupon, which puts you at $139. I've seen it on there for just $139, and then I've seen it for $130 something with 15% off. So it's normally in that $130 range, but right now it's $199 with the $60 off coupon as I'm filming this. And then the DP20 regular version is $169 with a $20 coupon, which puts it at $149. So it's actually $10 more right now than the Pro version, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but it is what it is. So with this one, you're going to get the laser measure. You also get this case, which I always, it's the same kind of case as everything else. It's kind of, to me, like a sunglass case that you might get. It's that soft yet stiff enough material to protect something. You do get a USB-C cable with it, and then also a wristlet, which is probably kind of important on this one as I talk about some of the features on it. So that's what you get in the box. Now, exterior features wise, we have all these buttons that I'll get into how they work. But on the outside, you do have a slide here that protects your charging port. And again, it is USB-C that you can cover up. And then it does have a tripod attachment as well, which is maybe important on this one as well for some of the features if you wanted to use them in a certain way to be as accurate as you can, because your hand's never going to hold something 100% steady. You might want, that might be a good feature to have on that. Now, size-wise, it is roughly, we're going to say 6 1/4 inches long, 1 inch and 5/8 wide, and then about 3/4 of an inch thick. So here it is in comparison to like the Bosch GLM 50C. You can see it's quite a bit longer. So it's definitely does that, which it's a dual laser, so it's got 2 different parts. Here's the Inkerma next to it in case you bought that one. And then here's the Sigmund. So it is definitely longer than all of them. It's a little bit slimmer, I think, than most of them. But it's also pretty slick as far as the outside of it. So it's all like a metal aluminum feel to it. I don't know personally that I feel like this would be for job site use in the way of while I'm working. Like I wouldn't put this in my tool pouch and use this as a measure, where I might one of these that has a little bit more grip on it and robust housing and things like that. I think that's why this wristlet also might be important while you're carrying it around, because it's not as easy to make sure you keep that in your hand. So here's my recommendation before we even get into this. If you're looking into this, I do a lot of estimating and I do a lot of drawings for people. So like here I've got some drawings of where I'm drawing out the electrical plan of where I'm doing some work, and then I'm wanting to know exactly where all those things are so I can mark them up for the customer to use later, or a ceiling plan or a layout or whatever it is. And sometimes I just need to go into spaces and get locations of where things are in relation to something else. And so I feel like that this tool is a really good tool for that, for certain features that are on it in comparison to some of the others that I have. But again, job site use, I'm not real sure about that. You just have to risk that yourself, because I just don't feel like I would be able to hold on to this while I'm doing a lot of, like, while I'm actually working. But to go around and do estimates, to go around and do drawings and things like that, this might be a good tool for you. But let's go ahead now and get into the features. So features wise, before we get started, I'll go ahead and put up the technical specs here that are in the manual. That way you can look that up. This has the specs for the DP20 and also the DP20 Pro. Maybe you can get in there, I'll zoom in on it if I can and let you see those, and you can pause it and look at those. But it's got several features. Again, you can turn it on here by pressing, holding that button. It's going to turn it on. It's going to, right now I'm measuring based on the pictures off of this side, and only this laser here would be on. If I press the button, that's the laser that's going to be on. So then it's got 3 different arrows here. Since this one's already on, I can turn on this one over here on this side if I want to by pressing and holding that. And now you can see I've got 2 arrows. I've got a laser here, I've got a laser here, and then I can also, I don't have anything right here right now, I can press the up button, hold that in, and it's going to give me a vertical mark this way too. That's the difference mainly between this one and the other ones that I have, the other 2 bilaterals. I can get this measurement to give me the measurements on both sides, but then I have this vertical, which isn't a measuring thing. It doesn't give you a measurement of where I am from here to there, but what it does is it gives me a reference point. If I'm in measurement mode, I select that. I've got all 3 lasers on. I got this one here on the right, this one on the left. I don't have the center one on. I'm going to press and hold that down. Now I've got that center level, or center laser. I can now set this down and say I'll line it up with my shelf support right there. But again, imagine this is a floor joist, a rafter, or it could even be a light fixture. It could even be a receptacle on the back wall, and I could turn the laser this way and get that same point on the back wall going to the right or left, or however I want to do it. But if I line that up there and then I select my measurement, so I've got my dot down there, have a dot here, I'm going to take that measurement, and I'm 87 1/4 overall, but I'm 23 1/16 from this whiteboard over is what it says. And if I take my tape and stick it up there, you can see I'm right at 23 1/16 or so. It's real close to that anyways. It's kind of in between, maybe 23 1/32. So again, that's the benefit to me of this one, is that you get that extra laser to kind of give you a reference point if I'm going around somewhere and I need to know what something outside of my laser plane, where that is in relation to the place that I'm measuring. Another feature that I'll show you while I've got this set up here, because it will kind of work here as well, I'm going to turn on again the vertical laser. It also has this other yellow button, which is a line segment mode. So it's going to take my overall measurement, which would be that 87 1/4 again. But let's say I want to divide this shelf. I want to put something in here and I want to divide that between, 2 things. I can go into this line segment, and this goes up to 16 divisions. I can keep pressing that and divide it up to 16 different spaces. But I can put it on 2 just because that's going to be probably the easiest for me to do. Let that set in, or press that button, and now it's going to tell me to get to the halfway point, to divide my area into 2 spots. I need to move that way. I can keep moving this way, which the halfway point should be somewhere around down in here somewhere. You can also watch your measurements, but it's going to start beeping at you as you get close and let you know that you're getting close to the halfway point. Right there I'm at 7/16 and 13/16, 3/4 and 7/16, 1/2 inch and 11/16. So again, but I can also get that vertical line showing up by pressing that down, and now I know this should be the halfway point. And again, you can divide that up into multiple segments. That's not a real easy feature to use. It's kind of cumbersome, but it is a feature that it has. I just wanted to share it with you. So again, that's the main feature that kind of sets this one apart from the others, is that it gives you that reference point that I can measure in a room from point A to point B, even if they're not in the same plane with one another. That's not an option with any of the other laser measures. But this has some other nice features as well. You can see I've got this mode button, so I can go from the measurement mode to square footage, where it will calculate my square footage after I take some measurements. I can go to volume, it will calculate volume. Those are the kind of typical things that are on those. Also has hypotenuse. Again, that's something that I have found are on most laser measures. But then I got this auto height feature, which I'll show you how that works here. So to show you auto measurement, I'm only going to use this laser on this side. You can see I'm measuring from the back, and I'm going to go into the mode of auto measuring. Press that button. You can see it's going to tell me to shoot the top measurement of whatever it is that I want to measure. I'm going to go ahead and measure my 59-inch DeWalt track right there. What you do is you point the laser on the top of the track, press the button, and then it's going to tell me to shoot the bottom measurement of the item I'm wanting to measure. So I'm going to take that laser and put it on the bottom. And you see I got 60 inches and 11/16. Again, it's a 59-inch track. So is it off a little? Yes, but that's because it's very hard to like hold this still with your hands, and plus I'm doing it around a camera, and try to get it like exactly on the edge of a track. So is this something that you would use to measure and cut a board? Absolutely, I wouldn't. But if I go in someplace and I want to measure something that's 40 foot tall, and I can tell by looking at it, it's close to 40 feet, but I could shoot this to the top and to the bottom, or something that's even off the ground. Maybe there's a window opening that's really high up that I can't really get a measurement to, and I can't shoot a regular laser measure. I could use this to kind of get a rough idea, again, for estimating purposes, what I'm looking at. So I think that that's a pretty nice feature. So that's all the modes that you have, but again, there's several other features on this that you can use within those modes. So again, if I'm on measurement mode, I'm going to only measure from this side. Let me take a measurement here. I'm 29.5 inches. It also shows me the degrees up there in this mode at all times. So you could use this as a digital level as well. So if you don't already own a digital level, think about that in your price point of, this is $100 and something, but if I go buy a $100 digital level and a $100, laser measure, I can get both in one package possibly and use that. Now, digital levels usually have more features when it comes to setting things on slopes and things like that than this does. But again, it's just an option in there. But I can also press this button here, and it's going to make my display bigger and just give me the measurement. So if that's all I care about, it gives it to me in a bigger picture, so it's easier to see. So I can do that. And then on top of that, this also, if I hold down that same button that I just did, you get into Bluetooth mode. You can see I just turned Bluetooth off. It had an arrow through it, or I can hold it and it turns it on. So again, that's the difference of the DP20 Pro, is that you have Bluetooth mode and it works with the Smart Life app, as you can see here. So you can open that app, hook into your laser measure, and it will give you a cut list, or basically a list of the measurements that you've just taken over the course of time. You can go down through there if you need to remember one, if you're trying to do those things. Probably not something I will typically use. And then also within that app, you can do floor plans and draw lines, draw a room, whatever it is, go around, select the walls, shoot measurements. It adjusts those walls to scale based on the measurements that you shoot. Is it the best app in the world? I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's not, in my opinion, but I haven't found any of those apps that work with any of these laser measures. That's the whole reason why I bought this Bosch GLM50C a long time ago, is back whenever it has Bluetooth as well. Trying to use the Bosch app, I never really liked it either. So typically I just hand draw stuff out for my notes, go in, write down my measurements as I get those with my laser measure, and then I come home and do it on my computer. It's just a whole lot easier for me, but it might be just the thing you're looking for. If you're only doing a one room thing, it might work out for you, versus if I'm doing a thing with several rooms, it's just not that intuitive of an app, in my opinion, right now. But that is an option on the DP20 Pro. Again, that's the main difference, is the Bluetooth, and then also the amount of length that you can, the maximum distance that you can go with the laser measure. So that's that option there. And again, you have memory here where I can press that and hold it, and it will bring me into some, if I press it once, it memorizes whatever that 29.5, I pressed it and it memorized that. But I can also go in here to any other things that I hit memory button on. So anytime I take a measurement, if I short press memory, it saves it. And then if I long press it, it takes me into the memory mode of whatever measurements is that I memorize. And I think it will do up to 20 measurements at a time. So it also has a unit button there where you can select multiple units as far as how you want your display to come out as the measurement. I have feet and inches showing here. If I hit unit, you can see I have feet, inches, and fraction. I can also go to meters, which is a decimal, so it'd be like 6.2 meters, feet, which is a decimal, 6.2 feet, or inches, 6.2 inches. Those are all decimal readings, or you can go to that inch and fractions, which is what I typically use. So that's the main options and things like that on it. Again, it's $140, so is it expensive? Yes, but I think it has a few cool features on it. I think more than anything, it's that extra laser on the top, to where now I can go into a room and maybe go up to the ceiling joist if I want to know how far away this ceiling joist is from this wall, and it's a L-shaped measurement that I need to take. or the thing that I need is in a different plane than where your laser shoots, you have the option to be able to get that measurement now. And I think that that's a great feature, probably the best thing on this. But again, I personally feel like this is good for an estimator or someone who does drawings of interior work, because that's another thing is outside, which they claim this, they don't tell you that it will work outside, but I'll tell you, outside in the sunlight, it's very hard to see this display. And I can't even get a picture of it because it does wonky things with the camera and the video. It sits there and kind of flutters, so I tried to do that, but I'll just take my opinion on it. Very hard to see outdoor, which they say this is an indoor laser measure, so they don't claim for it to be. So it's pretty much an inside estimator, inside person who's making drawings, somebody who's wanting to get measurements from certain items that are in the ceiling over to a wall, things like that. This would probably help you tremendously. But you guys let me know what you think about it. If you've got one of these, let us know in the comments below how well you like it, and if you like some other laser measure better than this that you've tried, or whatever it might be. Let us know that in the comments below. But I hope this was useful in some way. You guys stay safe, have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video.